Hello, welcome to the next class in our series. This class is on stress, sleep, and emotions. I am super excited to talk to you about this topic because this is what brought me to oils in the first place. So I struggled for so long with these topics, with these three topics, without knowing that there were super easy, simple, natural solutions that I could have used to make my life easier. So for that reason, I love sharing them with other people. So I'm so excited to get into this with you tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Christine Ferry. I am a fifth grade teacher in a public school outside of Philadelphia. I have two daughters, Maddie and Jane. Maddie is a freshman in high school and Jane is in sixth grade in middle school. So about 5 years ago, I kind of stumbled upon essential oils on the internet, not really knowing what they did. And I purchased a few and I started using a diffuser and I just loved the way that it smelled. It just made my house smell so fresh and clean. I had no idea that they could do anything besides that. So at this time, my youngest daughter, who was in first grade at the time, had been a terrible sleeper for her entire life, and it was just getting worse. She would wake up most nights with either night terrors or just unable to sleep. And this had been going on for like I said, a few years. So enter doTERRA. I'd had these oils. I wasn't really sure what they would do. I found a local group in Havertown. They were teaching classes. They were, mentoring people, showing us what to do. And from there, I found solutions to help Jane sleep. She slept all night long. Now that she's in middle school, sometimes she sleeps until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which is pretty great for her and for me. So it also gave me the energy that I needed to address some really stressful things going on in my life and my emotions. So I have been doing this for about 4 years now. I love to share with others. I'm still in disbelief at how much easier my life is now that I know how to use these oils, and all I want to do is help make other people's lives easier as well. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so today we're talking about stress, sleep, and emotions. So if you have your handout or just a piece of paper, just take a minute and jot down on your piece of paper how aware you are of being stressed in your daily life. Like, do you know that you're stressed out? Are you unaware? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1, it's not an issue, 10, it's a huge problem. Then next, how concerned are you about the quality and quantity of your sleep? Again, on 0 to 10. And then last, how frequently do your emotions feel difficult to manage appropriately? Okay, now after you've had a minute to kind of think about these three things, I want you to take a second and reflect, like, how committed are you to finding a solution to the things on this list that are an issue for you? Anything that I say is like over a 5, I consider to be something that I want to take out of my life or make easier. So are you committed? If you're not sleeping well, are you committed to trying new things? If you are committed, I hope that you find some really easy tips and solutions tonight that you can try. If in this presentation you don't find the answers you're looking for, please reach out to the wellness advocate that enrolled you and have a chat with her, because I know that she can help you find some solutions as well. If you are someone, I'm going to say this before we get started, who takes sleep or anxiety medications, please do not stop taking them without talking to your doctor. Some of the things we are going to talk about tonight could be substitutions for those things, but you never want to just stop taking medication without consulting with your doctor and making sure that if you do decide to switch things up, that you do it in a safe and healthy way. If you are experiencing side effects with the current medications that you're taking, or you're just wanting to try something natural, you want to make sure you're doing it the right way and not just going cold turkey, because that can be really terrible for your bodies. Okay, so let's talk about your brain. Your brain is the little power center of your body. Okay, and in our brain, we have this little tiny control tower called the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is this tiny little gland, and it regulates our stress signals. So it sends out cortisol and activates other stress hormones when it perceives any type of stress. So it's really amazing at keeping us safe. Classic example is when a bear is chasing you, because we come across a lot of bears, I'm sure, and your body just knows what to do. If your body senses danger and a bear was chasing you, you would just start running or do whatever it is that you need to do to get away. Another situation is like when something scary happens and you have to protect your child, like you just instinctively know what to do. People say they can like lift a car, they get this incredible strength, and that all comes from the hypothalamus. Your body only needs to perceive a stress in order to send out those hormones. So the same hormones that get sent out if you're being attacked by a shark get sent out when you perceive any kind of stress. It doesn't differentiate between life-altering stress and just annoying stress. It sees it all the same way. So your body basically acts as if a bear is chasing you when you have too much work to do. If you're worried about your finances, if your relationship is in stress, the body thinks it needs to protect you. Somebody knocks on your door and you haven't washed your hair in 2 days and you're wearing pajamas. Your body sends those hormones throughout it saying, this is a bad situation. So the issue with sending out these stress hormones, and so many of us are so stressed now, is that it wreaks havoc on our body. So when you have that kind of chronic stress going on in your body, over time, your body gets really, really worn out. And stress management and being able to calm down is what we really need to do, but it's easier said than done. Chronic stress is a disease, and any time of prolonged stress, like racing thoughts, a toxic relationship, stressful work environments, can have the same physical effects as on the hypothalamus as if a bear was chasing you. So the important thing to understand is whether it's perceived stress or an actual physical threat, the harm is still the same. So we are living in a world of chronic stress, and these response mechanisms can really go into overdrive and make us feel really worn out. They also trigger other chronic symptoms like trouble sleeping, chronic fatigue, changes to your cycle, headaches, wearing down your immune system. They can mess with your blood pressure, anxiety, depression. The list goes on and on and on and on. And all of this becomes triggered from the hypothalamus releasing these hormones. So this is where we're coming from tonight. How can we help our body to shut down? How can we get really good restful sleep and manage our mood so we aren't wearing out our adrenals and hormones and calming our body down so we aren't on high alert all the time? Okay, so 70% of our sleeping issues are psychophysiological issues. That's how the brain and the body interact. So get into the body and think about all the things you didn't do that day, all the things on your list for tomorrow, all the things you're worried about, and your cortisol levels revs you up. So 70% of sleeping issues are because of the way the brain and the body are interacting. 15% can be environmental, like you're not sleeping in the right temperature, your room is too warm or too cold, you don't have comfortable clothing, your kids are waking you up, there's too much bright light, you're looking at your phone before you go to bed, those kind of things. And then 15% is chronic pain, things like chronic pain, sleep apnea, physical things that are really getting in your way. So there are a lot of things that we can do to help with these things, and tonight we're going to talk mostly about the psychophysiological. Okay, so in all of our classes, we're first going to start off with the importance of the Lifelong Vitality Pack, the LLV, sleep, stress, and emotions. We still come back to the foundation to make sure that we're filling in those gaps, because when your body is not being treated properly, your stress levels automatically go up and it's hard to manage your emotions and your mood and your sleep. So all of these things are really pertinent, just keeping your health in good condition. If you're not taking these yet, just remember you can try them for 30 days. If you don't feel better, you're not sleeping better, your pain isn't better, your mood isn't better, you can return the empty bottles to get a full refund. Okay, so let's talk nightly regimen when it comes to sleep. There are so many different options that you can use for sleep. So we're going to talk about a couple different options, and you always have to pay attention to your own body and how it reacts. So here is a recommended nightly regimen for sleep. So Serenity Soft Gels. Serenity Soft Gels are a dream come true. What they do is they calm the nervous system and they promote some healthy relaxation and sleep. It does not contain all the same essential oils that are in the Serenity essential oil blend. There are other ingredients in there that naturally help trigger the production of melatonin to help you fall asleep and stay asleep. I know many people who had been somewhat hooked, in a sense, on over-the-counter sleep aids. And the struggle that they had with those was that when they took those sleep aids, they would wake up and feel really groggy, their head would hurt, a little bit like a hungover feeling. If you've taken something like an Advil PM or Tylenol PM, you know that feeling when you wake up. You feel kind of like hungover. The great thing about Serenity Soft Gels is that you don't have any of that. Because of the ingredients in it, you wake up feeling like you've actually slept. You feel refreshed. So they're really great for travel. If you do not, have any trouble with sleeping, then something that you could do is take it to if you're traveling and you're in a different situation and you need a little extra help. Now, they are great when you pair them with Copaiba soft gels. We know that Copaiba is really good for anxious feelings. It really helps with inflammation and just helps our body and our nervous system to stay at rest. And it helps with pain too. So a lot of people feel super zen if they take a Serenity and a Copaiba. Plus, you're kind of getting the benefit of getting the sleep and repairing the inflammation in your body at the same time. So that's one nightly regimen. And I know a lot of men like to use that, especially if they're not exactly into rolling oils or diffusing oils. They just are kind of accustomed to like, just let me take something and deal with this. This is a great alternative to, like I said, those over-the-counter things. Another alternative will be using Adaptiv at night. Some people like it during the day to help with their anxiety and their racing thoughts. Some people prefer it at night because that's the time that their thoughts just can't kind of close off. So that could also be partnered with Copaiba as well. And then last, we have the Yarrow Palm capsules, which are amazing for healthy cells and good for beauty, cells, skin, but also, which people don't really realize, they're also really great for mood management. And a lot of women report that they feel like more balanced and stable when they take the Yarrow Palm capsules. And these are great to take at night too, because then your body is repairing and the cells are repairing as you're sleeping. So here is a great roller that you could make. This is suggesting to use about 20 drops of each. You could do anywhere between 10 to 20, depending on how strong you like your oils. So you could apply this to the bottom of your feet, under your big toe, on your heart, palms of your hand, your pillow. You can inhale before you go to sleep just to get yourself in that calm state. Vetiver is one of my favorite tranquilizing, I like to call it, essential oils, because it really does just knock you out. It's a very thick oil, so you may want to swap out and get a dropper top for it because it does take a little bit of time to come out. You could also just add a few drops of each of these to your diffuser and diffuse it all night long to help you stay asleep too. When we say the bottom of the foot, the big toe especially, the big toe is a pressure point for sleep and snoring. So it's a great place to apply your oils when you're trying to get better sleep. Okay, so here are some other ideas to help make your sleep hygiene a priority. This is something that I think busy people often overlook because we're always thinking about what we have to do and what you're trying to accomplish before you go to bed. A lot of people who have children like to stay up when they go to bed because it's the only time they kind of have some time to yourself. But, it's really important that we try to get actual sleep because it affects everything else. So a couple tips, and some of these are easier than others for different people, to try to limit your caffeine after lunchtime, and to avoid alcohol at least like 2 hours before bed, which I know probably sounds kind of crazy because a lot of us like to have a glass of wine before we go to bed, which is totally fine. But if you've ever had a night where you've had more than a glass of wine and you fall asleep, but then you feel like you really didn't sleep. So that is something that happens when we are when we have too much to drink, like we actually don't get the rest that we think we need, that we think we do get. Screen time is a huge issue with getting good quality sleep. It's really recommended that you avoid your screens 30 minutes prior to bedtime. I mean, this sounds a little bit crazy, but honestly, keeping your phone out of your room is the best thing that you can do. Maybe if you put it across the room so it's not right next to your bed, so it's not the first thing that you grab first thing in the morning and the last thing you look at before you go to sleep. I personally like to keep mine downstairs. And then when I come up to bed and I do my routine, I'll just read for half an hour before I go to bed. This way my brain knows it's time to shut off. The temperature is ideal too. You want to be in a cooler temperature. You don't want it to be too hot. It's hard to sleep that way. And obviously a quiet, dark room. Consistent bedtime is really important too. Your body gets confused if you go to bed at 9 o'clock one night and midnight the next night. The consistency really helps. Having some kind of daily exercise, even if it's just going for a walk, doing yoga, some kind of movement helps. And if it's really hard for you to fall asleep, a sleep meditation could be helpful too. This is a list of our favorite sedative type oils. They work differently in everyone. Some people have really good results with oils like marjoram and vetiver and sandalwood. It's all your personal preference. So try some of those out, see how they work. Okay, here are some other little blends that could help in specific situations. If you have little ones who are having nightmares or night terrors, You can use a combination of cedarwood and juniper berry. Juniper berry is the oil of the night, and it's amazing for helping with all the scary thoughts that kids sometimes have when they're having those dreams. And another great blend at nighttime is just cedarwood, lavender, and frankincense. Now we know that restless legs is something that keeps a lot of people up at night. So here are two ideas if you are suffering from restless legs when you're trying to go to sleep at night. One is you can make a little spritzer bottle or a roller of Aroma Touch, lemon, peppermint, and lavender, and roll it or spritz it on your legs before it's time to go to bed. Another simpler option is just take your Deep Blue Rub and rub that on your legs right before you get in bed, and it will help to kind of calm your muscles down and stop that little shaking that comes along with restless legs. The last is snoring, and whether it's you or someone you're sharing a room with, it can be a real pain when you're trying to get sleep. So the easiest solution to snoring would be breathe. So putting breathe on the bottom of the big toe, some people like to put it on their chest as well, and some people like to diffuse it with their diffuser with other oils too, to help the snoring stop, because that can be very frustrating when you're trying to get some sleep. Okay, so let's talk about the mood matrix. So when you're thinking about your mood, now that you've had some quality sleep and you've gotten your sleep under control, and also before I move on to mood 2, I just want to say that I think it's helpful to experiment and pay attention, like even jot it down at night. When you put your oils in a diffuser, put in the ones that you choose the combination that you like, and then keep track of it, write it down. And then the next morning, think about when you wake up, well, how did I sleep? Was I restless? Did I stay asleep? Was I tossing and turning? Did I have to get up many times? And then do the same when you're using different supplements or your rollers. You have to really stop and pay attention to your body and figure out what works best for you. It's always going to be trial and error. So it's really good to just keep track of that and find out the combinations that are best for you. Something that works for you too for 2 years might all of a sudden not work as well. So it's important just to always be paying attention to your body and how it's responding to these oils. Okay, so the mood matrix. So here are some suggestions when you're trying to move away from uncomfortable moods and into more positive places. If you find that you are fatigued, you're feeling tired, you've got 2 choices here going up. Serenity, which is going to help you get the sleep that you need, or citrus bliss, like because maybe you can't go to sleep because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you're on a Zoom call. So citrus bliss will help give you the energy. Now, if we go below the matrix, if you're starting to feel stressed out, balance and elevation are 2 different oils that you can reach for. Balance is if you're finding that you're all over the place, you don't feel very peaceful, you feel very overwhelmed, then balance is an oil you kind of want to go to. If you're feeling stressed out and you're also like not inspired by what you're doing, you have to do a lot of mundane tasks, elevation will be a great oil to add to the mix for that. All right, next up we have our favorites, the Adaptive Collection for all of my anxious, worried people. So the Adaptive Collection is anxiety relief for all. So it's going to provide you stress relief while giving you energy, and it's uplifting too. This is not a sedative type combination. So we have this little trio set here because it offers you all 3 ways to use the Adaptive. You can either use it in the roller topically, the calming blend capsules, or the bottle itself. You can use it to diffuse or inhale. So let's start with the roller. The roller is already diluted, so it's safe just to put it right on your skin. It has wild orange, lavender, copaiba, spearmint, magnolia, rosemary, neroli, and sweet gum. Now, the bottle itself has all the same except for the fractionated coconut oil. And then we have the capsules. These guys are magic. Magic, magic, magic. So the capsules are a combination of lavender, coriander, wild orange, fennel. Then we have some other natural ingredients that is obviously not in the oil. We have scledium, which brings feelings of alertness. It's a mood stabilizer. It improves your cognitive functioning, and it also combats nervousness. The other ingredient, which is really helpful in here, is an ingredient called GABA. GABA release promotes relaxation. It helps reduce your apprehension. That's that nervous energy that you have. It pumps the brakes on your brain and your central nervous system and allows it to move into a lower gear. So the way that I like to describe the way that these capsules work is that if you've ever taken a prescription medication for severe anxiety, like panic attacks, let's say like a Xanax, when you take something like that, you kind of feel like your whole body just slows down and you feel like everything is in slow motion. And you don't have that nervous energy, but you also kind of lose the focus and the productivity that you usually need when you're feeling stressed out too. The difference with these adaptive calming one capsules is that you have the GABA and the selenium and the oils bringing you down, but you're still able to be productive and focused. The way that I describe taking them is like, when I take them and I'm feeling anxious, I just kind of float from activity to activity. I still am able to do all the things that I have to do. My mental clarity is better, but that feeling of nervousness is gone. So I hope that helps in terms of how it feels in the body. Okay, so your secret word, we're not finished the class yet, but we're trying to hide the secret word in different places. The secret word for this class is lavender. So make sure to jot it down. And then when you're finished, you can fill it out on the virtual punch card after the class is over. Again, lavender is the secret word. Here are some diffuser recipes. These are on, these are on the handout as well. So you can try any of these combinations and they're going to help to be uplifting and mood boosting. Next, we have some stressful feelings. If you're feeling worried, oils you can use are Elevation, Wild Orange, Tangerine, and Sandalwood. If you're feeling judgmental, Geranium, Rose, Pink Pepper, those would be really helpful. If you're feeling isolated or lonely, Magnolia, Cedarwood, Myrrh, Frankincense. And chaotic, we have Lemon, Vetiver, and Lemon Myrtle. These are some of my favorite books to use to help with your emotions, especially. The Emotions and Essential Oil books is amazing. That book has every single essential oil and it tells you what the emotional components are. So if you're feeling one way, you can look up either the feeling or you can look up the oil itself and it will tell you how to use it. Okay, and then the last thing we have is your sample wellness box. This would be a great combination to put into your LRP. We have the Adaptive Collection, Wild Orange, Copaiba Soft Gels, Balance, and all this together will also get you the free oil of the month and product credits as well. So I hope that this was really helpful to you. I hope that you got some good ideas for sleep and stress and emotions. And don't forget to fill out your punch card so that you get credit for the class. Thanks so much.